Okay, welcome everybody. This talk focuses on the question how to quickly create and publish a real-world data study report. And not only we need to do it efficiently, but also the report should be reproducible and rich in metadata. So let's first discuss how the world of real-world data scientists looked like before our proposed solution. Let's say you are a data scientist who wants to prepare a real-world data study report, and quickly you realize that there are many questions and about various details that you need to answer, even before you start analyze your data. So for example, where you should start? Is there any recommended workflow for creating a real-world data study report? Are there any analytical templates that you could reuse? Maybe you heard about Quarto. So how could you use it? What you should prepare and check before using it? You should add some metadata to the report. But what metadata should that be? Where should they come from? Should you provide them manually by yourself? What if you make a mistake doing that? How the report should be formatted? Should there be some corporate branding and styling? How you should comply with the corporate visual guidelines? What good practices should you follow? Should your plots, like design plot or attrition plot, be standardized somehow? Are there any tools that are ready to use if you want to add such common components to the report? What about good practices that support reproducibility of your report? What should you remember to do to make your report more reproducible? Where should you publish your study report online? Do you know how to do it properly? What should you check before publishing your report? After publishing, should you standardize somehow the report title or the URL? Should you add some tags for easier discoverability of the report? What if you want to discuss the online report with your colleagues or present some key findings using slides? Should you copy and paste some content from the report into an email or slide deck? Finally, do you need to do all those steps manually, remembering at the same time what should be done and when? Well, it seems like there is a lot of things that real-world data scientists need to know or do while working on their study reports. Things that should be automated. So the real-world data scientist can focus on what is the most important for the job. So the study and the analysis itself, right? So how the world of real-world data scientists looks like now? It can look like as simple as this. At our disposal are two most fundamental function calls. The create report function will create a new real-world data study report for you, and publish report function will publish the study report to the Connect server. The workflow could be more advanced, but these two functions solve most of the problems described before. So what changed and allowed to get from the old messy world to the new simple one? What changed was the Roche template R package that provides analytical templates or major databases and routine real-world data analysis. And there is an interesting story here. As the first experimental version of the package was created by James and Nathaniel long time ago. But after some time, the development and even the maintenance of the package stopped, as there were some other priorities, of course. However, after some period, it turned out that many real-world data scientists are still using this abandoned package, and in addition, they are asking us to start working on the next updated version. So another team of real-world data scientists and R developers has been created, and this year we have released the second version of the package. So what the Roche templates package can do for you? It shows you how to start. You just need to install the package. You will also need a proper minimal version of Quarto available in your container. If you are not sure if such version of Quarto is available to you, you just use the check Quarto version function from the Roche templates package. It will show you what version you currently have in a container, what is the latest stable version available, and what minimal version is required. If needed, you can easily upgrade or downgrade the Quarto version with the install Quarto function, which will take care of downloading and executing the proper installation file. And you've already seen this minimal workflow, which should be enough for many cases, but you can also try the extended workflow if you are a bit more advanced user. You will have more control over different steps in the workflow and ability to do much more at each and every step. So the first step in the extended workflow is to gather all necessary metadata about the study and your report. You can do it with the create metadata function. You can provide some inputs manually, like authors' IDs or database names, but you don't need to do much more than that. As much metadata as possible will be gathered automatically via different services or different web APIs. For example, authors' IDs will be used to gather more information about the authors, like the names, affiliation, corporate emails, and so on. And database names will be used to gather additional information about the databases used in the study. After gathering all the metadata, we can just pipe them into the create report function. It will create all the necessary files and folders for report Quarto book and put the metadata into the proper places of the report. Additionally, it will automatically set the default status of the report and apply default corporate style and branding. At the end, it will make an attempt to suggest you to use one or more analytical templates based on the metadata information about the databases used in the study. So this is how the typical report will look like. Several types of appendices will be suggested, like bibliographical references, tutorials, a glossary and abbreviations, medical codes, dictionaries, or technical documentation. You can use them all or remove later if not needed. On the preface page, you will find the enriched metadata information about a report and metadata about the authors of the reports together with their contact details. There will be also metadata about the databases used in the report with automatically added links to additional official information about data sources. After creating the report file structure, we can easily add one or more analytical scripts based on the predefined templates with the use template function. Apart from the most universal generic template, we could use templates that are database specific or methodology specific. Anyone can propose a new template. Just each template needs to have a curator, a person who is responsible for the content of the table, of the template, and execution of its code. An example of database-specific template is the analytical template for the market scan data. And market scan database has lots of data, about 40 million government-funded health insurance enrollees. So it is a really big real-world data database that obviously cannot be processed in the memory. And because of that, market scan template has also an R code extracted in a dedicated R package that allows to build cohort on the database server side. A user can use a simple interface of R functions to set initial event, calculate index dates and observation periods, add event flags, and build the final cohort. But the complex SQL queries will be executed on the database server, and only the final cohort data would be returned into the R memory for further analysis. Each database-specific template has also predefined description of the data source and its limitations, so that could be easily reused in the new studies. If you want to add some standardized elements to the report, like plots or tables, that is also very easy. Roche Templates has built-in functions to create study design plots or programmatically change the status report. The attrition flowcharts and tables can be easily added with the use of some external R packages, which code could be also suggested in the templates. Once your first draft of the analysis is ready, you might want to render the whole report with the render report function and browse it locally with the browse report function. Bibliography biptext file for R packages used in the report will be generated and added automatically. And if you work a lot with a single script, you can use the render file function to quickly re-render only this single file from the report. You can also render the whole report into other formats than static HTML pages, like PDF or EPUB. When your study report is ready, use the publish report function to publish it on Connect. The only thing you need is the Connect API key, which could be set as an environmental variable. If necessary, the default Connect server will be set up for you, and the report will be rendered and deployed automatically. Additionally, the standardized vanity URL and Connect text will be set to improve discoverability of the report in the future. The Roche Templates package will automatically try to help you to make the study report reproducible. When the package is loaded, it will check if the minimal required version of Quarto is available. The created report will always have a standard appendix with various reproducibility information. The R session info about loaded packages will also be added at the end of each analytical script, and the source R code of the analysis will always be obtainable from the report itself. Finally, before publishing, several checks will be done. For example, if all rendered pages are up to date and nothing has changed since last rendering, or if a render snapshot is in sync. If you want to enable online collaboration among different stakeholders, you can just turn on Hypothesis, the online annotation system. You can do that just by calling the use hypothesis function before rendering. Your report will gain a right sidebar that will allow you to annotate, comment, reply to previous comments, and discuss online your report with your colleagues or stakeholders. You will be able to get an email notification if a new comment is added to the discussion. So what are the benefits of having an R package like Roche Templates? So it increases our productivity, as there is no need to reinvent and re-implement common tasks every time you prepare a reward data study report. We have more consistent, standardized reports across reward data projects with corporate style and branding. We enable users without experience with particular database or methodology to get up to speed, so it is easier to onboard people to reward data routine analysis. The transparency is higher as we improved clarity of assumptions and methods used, and open discussion of the report is supported by online annotation system. The efficiency is improved because Roche Templates automates as many steps as possible, taking care of low-level repeatable tasks. And last but not least, the reproducibility is improved as Roche Template supports and promotes good practices of reproducible research. To sum it up, real data scientists had to deal with a messy report initiation. Now they can easily reuse this established workflow and get to the reliable insights faster. But that's not the end of Roche Templates development for us. In the future versions, we plan to extend metadata functionality, so we can pull more metadata automatically from different sources. Extend synthetic real data datasets that are already used in the generic template, so you can execute the template code even if you don't have access to particular database yet. Add new corporate branding options and interactive widgets to templates and tutorials. Ability to automatically render R plots from study report into Google Slides as static or vector graphics with the use of GSlider R package. This package is currently in development and soon will be also open source. We would like also to integrate templates with the new Roche Reward Data R package, also currently in development, which provides a single interface for building cohorts on large reward data databases. So I mean databases like Parametrics Plus, CPRD, Market Scan, and others. And thanks to already integrated event logging system, we would like to provide some insights on how end users use the Roche templates package, how they interact with that, what function they use. And last but not least, we obviously would like to add new curated analytical and also technical templates developed for and by the reward data community at Roche. And that's all. Thank you very much.
Questions for Kamil?
So I find this hypothesis integration very fascinating. Are you running your own server?
Yes, inside Roche, we have our own server, so we are handling everything on our part. There will be another talk in the afternoon by Adam, which will be focused solely, and Christian will be focused solely on the hypothesis system. So you will be able to learn much more about it.
Good.
But yes, it's a very impressive system. We're also impressed how easily you can do, and you can annotate not only HTML pages, you can annotate even PDF documents that are online, for example.
Yeah, so there is this open server, but I was wondering, are you really going to that and probably?
Yes, because the public version is obviously public, so everybody uses, but we were able to replicate, because it's open source system, but we are able to, thanks to Adam, mostly to replicate the system internally. Yeah.
Yes.
So it seems like a pretty complex package. How long did it take you to make it and automate everything there?
How long? Well, I would say several months, but it's not like we are building one data product only at a single time. So we're usually switching between different products. And we had very good support from the domain experts for what we want to achieve. So it went pretty quickly, yeah, I would say. But it's still, the next version, but the early version that we are trying to test right now more widely with more audience and gather some more feedback before we go further. But I would say at least several months about thinking, conceptual design, and so on, trying, experimenting with different things. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think that's the timeline.
Yeah, we have time.
Thank you for the presentation, very interesting. I was wondering how flexible is the template in everyday life? So if at a later stage you want to change some of your metadata, for example, add some new data sources, can you do that, or are you stuck?
I would say it's extremely flexible. So if you want to, at the end, change anything manually, for that example, you can always do that. But we are just suggesting that you leave some things like those metadata, for example, but you can also add some more or update them, right? The same for the analytical templates. It's not like we have some template-based analytical script and you have to use it. You can use the framework and put some analytical scripts by yourself. You don't don't need to use the template themselves, right? So yes, I think it's pretty flexible at the end. But what you have, that is what we recommend, and you can start directly with that.
We have time for another question. Yeah.
Thank you for the presentation. I was wondering if you had use cases or if you had investigated using, like, when you have in your workflow, you might not want to reprocess all the time systematically all steps. So for instance, whether you were investigating also using targets or some use cases where you would like to have one part of your workflow which is already calculated and you're just reprocessing one single step. Because I feel like when there are huge data sets, then it's very powerful to have the template, but then you might not want to spend too much time on reprocessing systematically the whole report.
I think I got it. Yeah. So so there are several things here. First of all, if you're working with large data sets, you can do it with this tool set that you allow you to process the data on the database server side, so it speeds the things up. But obviously, even though when you're rendering the report, it takes some time, right? Always some time. But it was mentioned, there are some caching option built in the Quarto itself, the freezer. You can cache the chunks of the code, so it happens more quickly if you render the report after that. I don't know if that answers your questions, but
Okay, yes.
okay, we can discuss it further.
Exactly. So we still have some time before lunch afterwards. So please feel free to talk to the speakers afterwards. So